Okay, we should be live in a second. Yes, and we're live. So I've been having a lot of fun, basically doing some uh, education-based stuff for Quasar. And I thought, hey, I might just stream what I've been working on because I think it's a really cool idea. So get this. Recently, I've decided that I'm going to release a new video every single day until all 72 of Quasar's components have been covered. I've already created about half of the videos, so I figured, hey, let's just go ahead and set the challenge of having a video every day until they're all covered. And around that, I've been adding some tools. One of the tools is a secret, and I'll share it with you all later, which is ridiculously exciting. That's going to make learning with Quasar a whole lot more interactive and so much more fun. So I'm super excited about that. But the other thing is, you know how often you have a GitHub repo with a project and everybody asks for a GitHub repo. So I thought, all right, I'm going to go all out with this. I'm going to give a StackBlitz repo. So if you go to stackblitz.com, let me just turn my light on here. Here we go. Here's some examples that I've got, like the Q card repo. And basically, I don't want to give too much away, but basically you'll be able to very quickly open this repo up and start editing whatever component we're talking about. So look at that. Straight away, you've got an editor where you can just start playing around with Q cards. So I'll be talking about it in the video, and then you can just come in here and start messing around with it real time. How cool is that? So this is live. It's super, super fast. It's way faster than things like Code Sandbox. I'm using Veep behind the scenes using Quasar's Veep plugin, so it's ridiculously fast. In fact, check this out. I'm going to refresh the page, and look how long it takes to load the entire editor. 2, 3, 4. In about 4 or 5 seconds, not only is the editor loaded, but we've also got a dev server up and running. It's ridiculously fast. So that's the first thing. The second thing was I was creating a GitHub repo for every single component for the series that I was doing. But then I thought, I just kind of had this brainwave, why don't we just put them all into one GitHub repo? So I started doing that. But then I thought, hang on, why don't we put the video inside of the GitHub repo so that you can literally edit it with the video inside? You know what? Let me just show you what I mean by this. So now I've got it set up where you've got all the components here, and you can go, for example, QAjax bar component, and this is a dev server that you will run yourself as somebody learning something in Quasar. You literally run this dev server yourself. You can watch the video, and at the same time, you've got an example down the bottom ready to go that you can start playing around with. This is not the best example. Let's have a look at QChip, for example. So what you do is you'd whack that on that side of the screen. Let me get my dev server up here. And then you'd whack this on the other side of the screen. And you would open up the, what did I call it? It's just called QChip.view. So there you go. Not only do you have the video ready to go here, but then you can be like, oh, I just want to like have a play around with this. So let's copy another one down, set the color equal to green because that's what Luke's doing in the video. Save that. Ooh, that's not updating in real time. Okay, that's something I need to fix. Probably because I'm doing some janky stuff to get that component loaded. Yeah, so it is working. Let's just try again because it might have just needed a restart. Color is equal to blue. Yeah, there we go. So now you can come in here and start like playing around, and you can say like text dash white. Oh, I think there's another thing you can do where you can say like text dash color is equal to white. I kind of remember. Yeah, there we go. So you can do that as well. And just start playing around whilst you're watching the video. How cool is that? So now what I want to do is I want to make it more flexible how you can display this video, and that's what I'm going to start coding on right now. So yeah, you can imagine you might be like halfway through the video and it's like, oh, removable. Okay, let me have a crack at that. I'm going to make these Vimeo later on so that they work a little bit nicer and you don't get those advertisements coming up. But then you can come in here and say, all right, let me have a go at that. Removable. There we go, it's working. I'm going to keep playing the video. So everything is right there in your face. How freaking cool is that? Great hands-on with code. It will really help. Yeah, I love this idea. Okay, so moving on. Now, the next thing I want to do is basically set it up so that when you click on one of these buttons, it automatically hides that left panel, and it already does that. Hang on, does that do that when you're full screen as well? Okay, but it doesn't when you're full screen. So I want to make it where that when you click on one of these, it hides the panel. So in order to do that, I basically wanted to have the toggling of the panel in global state. I'll show you what I mean. If we jump into main layout.view, notice that we've got left drawer open and toggle left drawer inside of this component. Now, everybody seems to be pretty obsessed with Pina these days. I actually don't use Pina. I use a tool that I find to be much more useful, and maybe there's reasons people use Pina that I don't know about, but I would far rather use Create Global State, which is something that Vue offers. And this just makes it really, really easy to basically use the composition API to create global state. I'll show you what I mean by that. This is really insanely cool. It means that we can do this. We can say, where was I up to here? Yeah, so I created this use left draw composable, and then basically it's returning create global state, which accepts a function. And this basically allows you to then use this as global state. So rather than, it means that when I say, for example, use left draw, and then I pull something out of that. Let me just give you a quick example of this. So you've probably seen this pattern if you used the composition API before, where you would then yank out of here. Oh, what happened there? Oh, something funky happened here in this file. Ugh, I can't undo it either. Yeah, I've been getting this weird stuff with Vola that's been making my editor be a little bit funky. I definitely did not do that. Return ref. That's all right. I don't actually need any of this anymore. So now I'm going to take that code there. We'll change this to a script setup. We'll get rid of all of that because I don't actually need it for now. Yeah, so now we're going to paste this in here. And it means that when we pull out of there, left draw open and toggle left draw, if we were to do that twice, they would both be referring to the same variable here. That's what create global state does for us. It means that whenever we use this, it's going to be global, so that we're only going to end up with one version of left draw open. We're only going to end up with one version of this function. So it's a really nice way to create global state because you're just using the composition API as you always do. We're not doing anything fancy here, like with Pina where you get your methods and your actions. And if you prefer it that way, that's totally fine. But I much prefer using create global state, so that I can then just say, okay, cool, let's yank out left draw open and then start using that in my components. All right, cool. Anyway, I'm getting too caught up in explaining things. Let's just carry on here. We need to import ref, so let's go ahead and do that. So I believe that's done now. And I can say use left draw. This is the one that we just created. And we're going to pull out of there. What am I doing? And I believe it's called left draw open and toggle left draw. So left draw open and toggle left draw. And now we can see if the left draw is open here. Oh, these have already been assigned. So let's check if that still works. There we go. We can close and open that. So that works. But the reason I'm using this in the first place is so that when you click on one of these links, it's going to close the left drawer. Now, I know that's happening right now, but it doesn't happen in full screen. And that's what I want. I want it to always close that left drawer no matter what, so that we can easily make this component a lot bigger. All right, so we can now jump into component list, which is basically this list inside of here. Right, this is all my filtering stuff so that you can easily filter through everything in that list. And now we can say here, use toggle left draw. No, what is it? Use left. Yeah, that's what I called it. Use left draw. And the only thing I need in there is toggle left draw. Actually, let's create another one called close left draw. Because in this situation, we very specifically want to close that left drawer. And now I can come in here and say, hey, when this item is clicked, I want you to close that left drawer. Now we can come in here and make that functionality, close left drawer. We can pretty much just copy paste that down, close left drawer, and we just set this equal to false. There we go. And now when we select something from there, it closes, even if we're in full screen. Cool. That works. Whoa, that's a little bit big. That would be the queue image component. So Okay, because it scales depending on the screen size. What is that example looking like? Has it got the ratio in there? No, I wonder why that's happening. No. All right, anyway, by the way, another benefit of this is that I've got all the ESLint stuff set up for you. So when you start, like, if you add another prop in like this, and you've got things looking gross, and you save it, then it basically automatically reformats it for you. So all of that stuff is handled behind the scenes. So I can safely put that in on there, the same line like that, because I know that when they add another property, it's automatically going to lint it for them. Cool. All right. Now, the next thing I wanted to do was to make it so that you can make this video bigger or smaller, and maybe even using a splitter component so that we can have it like you can make it split ways as well. Let me just show you. I think this is going to be really, really cool. So we've got our index page. What did I call it again? Something page. So I'll type in page here, component page. And I haven't totally sussed this out yet. So let's do some comments in here and figure out exactly what we want. So they can, it can be split vertically. It can be split horizontally. I think that would be really cool. So if you can split it and you can basically make it bigger and smaller and the video is going to resize. It can make the video full width. It can make the video a set width, and we'll probably set that to something like, I don't even know it yet. It can make the video set to default width. All right, so what I'm imagining is maybe we have like a splitter button for vertical and horizontal. And let me just quickly etch out what that'll look like. We can then say Q-splitter. All right, and then we can have a template in here. This is going to be freaking awesome. Before and then after. And then basically the video is going to sit in before there. And it's also going to sit in after here. The component will sit in after. Obviously, I need to model something. So in the splitter, we have to say v-model is equal to, let's just call it splitter for now. And what's the best way to do this? We'll say const splitter is equal to a ref, and we'll go 50% to begin with. We don't have ref. Let's make sure that's imported. Let's have a look at this. And there we go. How cool is that? I don't know why that randomly showed up. It's going to keep doing that. No, okay, it's working now. So now when it's in splitter mode, we want the video to basically take up the full width so that it looks really nice. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, you can come in here and say video dash, I think we could say, so this is page video. Yeah, I created a separate component for that, but now that paradigm doesn't quite fit. So basically, I wanted to make it so I could easily just spit that out so that it shows in the page nicely. So let's basically extract a lot of this and make it a lot simpler so it's just giving us the video. All right. So I'm thinking something like this. We just wrap that, and we don't need any of that other logic. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, that looks really good. Next, I want to remove the padding so we really utilize this space well on the page. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. Now, this key thing, I don't think I actually need that anymore. I thought I needed it for something else I was doing. Just get rid of that and see if this is still working. Yep. Okay, looks like that is still working. What else can we do? Man, this is awesome. So you can imagine the person doing the video can now be over here. Let's get out of dev mode and imagine you're somebody just watching this. Q rating, and they can come in here and just start playing around with the component and making the video bigger and smaller depending on their needs at the time. Cool. But of course, most of the time, they probably don't want vertical unless they've got two screens. They'd probably want horizontal. So let's go ahead and also implement horizontal for the Q splitter, which is going to be a little bit harder. Maybe not that much harder because we can just get the view height, can't we? Yeah. All right. Anyway, let's add buttons so that we can toggle each of these, and then I'll start tackling that problem. Okay, Q dash button. I'll do the styling in a moment, and I might switch this to icons later on. No, let's do icons now. Let's say fonts.google.com. I'm just going to see if there's some stuff I can close in my computer because I don't like it when there's too much stuff open. We can close that. We can close that. Cool. All right. So I want something that basically says like split in two. So maybe something like vertical. No, there's like I'm sure there's something we can have like two squares side by side. If anybody who's watching wants to like give me a hand here, I'm looking for like two squares side by side, vertical, kind of like that, but two of them. Kind of like that as well. All right, we might have to pull in the MDI library. What's it called? icons.js.org and vertical. That's not too bad, but I think we can do better. All right, so something like this. View, maybe something with the word view in it. Okay, here we go. Now let's go back to Google Fonts and look for something with the word view in it. View column. So we want that, but we only want two of them. So view stream, that's what we want. And then maybe I could just rotate the icon and use that one. Yeah, all right. So we got a little bit more choice with MDI icons. But it once again doesn't have, so I'm missing it. Choosing the right icon is important. Yeah, if anybody's watching and they can give me a hand here, then go for it. All right, it's important, but not important enough that I spend way too much time on this. So if we can get that agenda one, we'll do that. Okay, cool. So let's copy this and then let's go down the rotating route and see if we can get that to work. All right, so there's our button. And we'll set this to an icon called View Agenda. Right, so that looks good. Now I just want to see if I can actually do a version that rotates that icon. And maybe I can do this. Let's cut that. And I think I can put an icon directly in there and it's going to look okay. So let's say Q-icon and give it a name equal to View Agenda. Cool, they look the same. And I think you can say like rotate -90 or something. No. Oh wait, looks like I tried to do that. Okay, let's comment that out and just do the icon. Nah, something funky's going on there. Oh, whoops, I put that in the name. I want that to be inside of a class. So class is equal to rotate 90. Okay, there we go. That actually worked really well. Cool. So we've got what we need there. We got split horizontal and split vertical. The other thing was full width. So let's find like a full width thing. Width, maybe like full. Yep, that looks good enough to me. That's kind of exactly the thing I'm looking for. Open in full. Let's call it that. Q-button. Whoops. Q-button with an icon equal to open in full. Let's take a look at that. Yep, that's what I want. Okay, we can close that now. And the other thing that we want is basically a close full. I think that's probably a good one. Yeah, close full screen. Even though it's not technically closing full screen, that's the right idea. And there we go. So that's a good set of icons. Now we need to style them a bit differently. I think unelevated might be good for those, and we'll just separate them a little bit. Or make them a group of buttons, maybe? I think you can say like Q-button-group. Is that what that component's called? Yeah, there we go. That's going to group them really nicely. And then I just want to change the color of them. So I think I can do that directly in here, like gray dash, 7 or something like that. No. Okay, so let's look at the Quasar docs for this one. Q button group. There it is. and I want to be able to change the color. Style. Okay, so it looks like you have to change the color individually, which is totally fine. We can do that. And I'm going to break this down in a second because this component's getting a bit unwieldy. That's one thing I always regret when I don't break my buttons down enough. Cool. All right, I think that looks good. I just want to make them all either unelevated or flat. Let's try unelevated, see what that looks like. And then let's try flat. Okay. Why did that not work? Button group flat should definitely be one of the styles. Have I done something wrong here? That one's been set. Oh, okay, they've all, hang on, if you set the color and then you say flat, then that shouldn't make it filled in. Okay, so let's come into each of the buttons and we'll make them flat then, since this doesn't seem to be working. I think that's by design. There we go. Cool. All right, so the next thing we want to do is make these work. And we want to make them toggleable. But first, let's extract this component. And this is important. If you're kind of new to Quasar, then this is going to be like a really good lesson in how you can very, very effectively extract components. So something I do a lot is I go Control-Shift-P reveal to know where I'm at, because I know that I want this to be in the same area as where this component is. We're going to create a new folder here called component page. So we've got somewhere to keep all of this logic. We'll move that directly in there. And now, if I go to routes, excuse me, routes.js, I think that automatically updates the import. And we'll create a new file here and we'll call it display button group.view. There we go. We're going to whack that in there. First, we want to have a template. So I'll quickly do my template thing that I've got there. And then basically we want to be able to model the current button. Now, can a Q button group use modeling of some kind? Content. Maybe there's like a toggle. It's like, I'm pretty sure there's a button toggle. All right, let's go to the bottom and say what else there is. Button drop down, buttons. No, there's like a button group. I really thought there was some sort of a toggle one for buttons as well. Button, button group, button drop down. It's not going to be the button drop down, no. No, hang on. I'm sure this existed. This is driving me crazy now. Button. Button. Toggle. Man, maybe I'm wrong. Toggle button. Button. Yeah, right. Okay, I might be wrong. Oh, maybe like a button select or something like that. Oh, well, we can basically build this ourselves then. That's totally fine. So what I'm going to do is say const props is equal to define props, because we're using script setup here. And we're going to model the selection. Okay, so we'll say required is equal to true, type is equal to selection. Would that be a string? I think so. Let's make that a string. And I think that will be it. And then we can say here use v model, which is one of the most amazing components that we get from Vue use. So import use v model from @Vue use/core. I'm just going to hover that to make sure it worked. Yep. And now I can basically just say const selection is equal to use v model, and then we pass through there the props and the key of the thing, which is selection, and then the emit event. So we also want to say const emit is equal to define emits. And what do we want to pass on there? We want to say update selection, so that that's going to emit properly. Now, what this means is we can model selection within this component, and it's going to correctly stay in sync with whatever's modeling it from the top component, which is really, really cool. In order to do this on your own, takes quite a lot of boilerplate. So I use this all the time. Let me make sure I spell that correctly. So inside of this component now, I can model selection. It's not going to model the prop. It's going to model selection, okay? Because this is basically saying, hey, I want to handle selection. We don't want to handle selection with the prop selection in this component. So now I can basically come down here and say, how about we have like a on button clicked. This will be a function. And by the way, I never use arrow functions. For some reason, I just like the word function. It's so much more clear to me, and it really doesn't matter when you're doing it inside of a view component. So now we can say at click, and I should probably iterate over these and have them in an array, but it doesn't really matter that much for this example. And what is the button that was clicked here? We'll call it vertical. Yeah, because that's going to give us the vertical view. And now when you click on this, I want you to give us the horizontal view. And then we've got, I guess you'd call this full width. And then this one is going to be normal, default. Yeah, let's go with default, because I might play around with that later on. Cool. Now we can say value, or maybe change that to view so it's a bit more descriptive. Selection.value is equal to view. Now when I do this, as I said before, by saying selection.view, use vModel is doing something fancy here by using computer properties, and that's automatically going to emit the update selection event for us. All we have to do is set the value like this. So that's really, really cool. So now display button group should work. We can come up here and then say display button group. I love Voila. I'm getting auto importing for that. So how cool is that? And then we want to vModel view mode like that. And we'll come in here and we'll say view mode is equal to a ref, which will be an empty string by default. And we'll separate those because they're kind of different concepts. And send that over there. Send this over here. I can probably close that out, and we can probably close that out. And what's it squawking about? Get organized. Module not found. Component page. Oh, okay. It looks like that routing thing I did before didn't work. Maybe it wasn't in here. Yeah, it's probably inside of here. Component page. There it is there. So this is now nested within a folder. Component/page video.view inside of component page. All right, well, let's have a look at that. Page video, that should not be, that should be using a namespace. It's much safer. Component/page video. Where is page video? Oh, it's in pages. Okay, I don't know how that ended up happening. No. What's going on here? Source, pages. Oh, pages, components. Okay, I don't know about that nesting. I might refactor that later on. All right. So let's see if this is working now. Missing required prop selection. I thought I set that, but I guess I didn't. View mode. vModel selection. Honestly, in this case, since it's only going to model one thing, I could probably just say vModel. Yeah, I think that's fine. So now we can change selection everywhere to, or at least in some of these places, that to model value. Probably makes a little more sense. Cool. All right, let's see if that's working. Jump onto this. I think it's on component page. Yep, selection. and we can change it. So now all we have to do is set up the display and make that correct. And let's give this a default value of default. Where is it? Component page will make you default by default. Cool. All right, this is looking a little bit cleaner now. So the next thing we want to do is basically say, I don't know, if I make this unelevated, what's that going to do? That's going to make it look selected, so that's perfect. So what I might do is say flat is equal to selection is equal to vertical. Okay, it looks like it did something. But that would be not equal to, and then this would be unelevated. Basically, flat is going to remove the background color, so it kind of inverts the background color. Unelevated removes the shadow but keeps the background color as it originally was. So let's go with that. Yep, okay, that's working now. So we can basically just copy paste this down. Yeah, you can see that this should probably be extracted into some kind of a an array or object or something like that. Okay, this one's horizontal. Full width. Default. Save that. And now we can get rid of the original flat. There we go. Clean this up. And there we go. We can now change the selection, and all we have to do is react to those selections now. And the first one I might try and tackle is horizontal. I think that's going to be the most useful, to be able to change the horizontal height. So let's say here. And I'm just gonna, I think it's best to just copy paste this down for the different view types. Yeah, I think that's going to be best. Let's go with that. So I'll comment these out for now. Just make sure we've got some sort of a place where we can like play around with it. And then I can say here, v-if is equal to, if the view mode is equal to, what would this be? This would be vertical. And there we go. Make sure I close that off properly. Okay. Refresh the page. So nothing's showing, and that's good. It shouldn't until we select the vertical one. But that isn't vertical. I got those the wrong way around. So let's quickly come in here and switch those around. That should be horizontal, and these ones should be vertical. So let's do that instead. There we go. Vertical mode. None of those work because we haven't done them yet. And there we go. So let's just iterate on vertical mode until it's right, and then we'll move on to the next one. So first of all, I don't think I can set full height on this, but I'm going to give it a try anyway. Yeah, I remember there's this thing. Okay, this isn't easy to do to figure this out. Once you know it, it's easy. I think I can say class is equal to flex here. And that's going to make it take up the space, but I don't want this to be hit by flex. So can I say class is equal to, oh man, I hate this stuff. Align start or justify start. And then, oh no, because that won't work alone. I then now need to say here, class is equal to col, for it to be a column so that it takes up all of the space. And we actually want this to be a column. No, it's vertical. So we want this to be a row. Oh, hang on. No, so we want this to just be flex. Let me think about this. No, we don't actually want flex at all at this point, do we? No, I do, because QPage is basically, if you put flex on it, it's going to make sure that everything is the right height. So, I told you, this stuff always confuses me. If we set that to flex and we wrap this in its own thing, which is going to have a class equal to column, it's going to take up all of the space. And we'll set this, not flex actually, we want it to be column there. And let's see if that works. Cool. All right, so that part is working. Now, I'm pretty sure, yeah, notice that we've got a div here that's now taking up all the space. That's what I was aiming for here. Can I hide this crap? Ugh. Let me just try and show you what I mean by this. Basically, what the thing I'm aiming at right now is to make this everything full screen so that that splitter comes all the way down here. You can't even see it at the moment. I want it to show all the way down. So now we've got a column which is taking the full height, but I reckon the splitter inside of that is not. Yeah, see how the splitter is not? So let's play around with this. I think I can say height is equal to 100%, or maybe I need to make it flex. I think I need to make it flex. That's the way to go about this. God, I always just play around with this stuff if I'm really honest. It's like I half know how it all falls into place and half do not. One day I'm going to sit down and just really nut this out so that I can like make a video that makes all of this abundantly clear. Now by saying flex, I should be telling this to take up all of the space. Now what if we set that to a column and flex, so I'm saying, hey, I want everything inside of there to take up all of the space. Is that what I want? Yes, okay, that worked. Now let's go over why that worked though, because I need to remember this. First of all, the page is a column. We put two things inside of the page. If I just said justify start and this one wasn't set to column, it wouldn't display correctly. It would pull them apart. Well, I don't know, something's gone wrong there. So what I need to do, hang on. Yeah, it doesn't display properly. So by setting column here, I'm basically saying, oh, do I not even need that anymore? Okay, cool. I don't. So by having column here, I'm telling this div to take up all of the space available inside of this column. All right, QPage already makes a div for us that is the exact right height of the page. So that's handled for us inside of the QPage component. We make it a column, and then we say take up all of the space left over inside of this column, which is why this works, and it goes to the bottom rather than beyond the bottom, or rather than just like staying at the top here. Okay, that's good to know because we're going to use that same concept when we use the splitter horizontally as well. Is that going to work? Let me pull it this way. Yeah, let's just play around a little bit with this. Yeah, I think that's what I want. It looks nice. All right, so now let's take this, paste it in there, and deal with horizontally. So there we go. If the view mode is set to horizontal, we want to use a Q splitter horizontally. All right, so nothing at all is happening there. What would happen if I got rid of horizontal? Nothing at all. Weird, they're pretty much the same. Oh, no, it's horizontal. Cool, so that's working. Let's add horizontal in here to that splitter. All right, so it's kind of working, but it's doing something funky. So we're saying col, but instead of flex here, we now want to say this is a column because flex is going to be like a row by default. Now, why is this? What's going on here? So we got the buttons. Then we've got a column. All right, there's something funky going on here. It's almost like it's... Oh, the VIF is in the wrong spot. So both of those are getting rendered. So let's get rid of that. Put it in the right spot. And same with you. I wish ESLint got rid of like blank lines like that. That would be nice. But hey, ESLint is awesome, so I shouldn't complain. So now we need to make it so that it displays this correctly. All right, something totally funky is going on there. I just can't drag it. It seems to be working. It's just not draggable. So it's also modeling the splitter. We should probably have different splitters for each of those, though. We should probably have a vertical splitter and a horizontal splitter. This looks wonderful. Hope this will be available on the channel after the stream. Thanks. It will be available very soon. This is only part of the piece of the puddle too. It's but actually I think it's available right now. Here, let me just see. Have I got a Git repo for this? Git status. Nope. Let's say Git init git add dot git commit initial commit. It is currently broken, but that doesn't matter. We're just going to do an initial commit anyway. I'll jump into github.com/. I want to go to my repositories without showing my, you know what, I can just put on my bottom screen. All right, I'm going to make a new repository. What's a good name for this? I'm thinking, hang on, I did make a repository for this. I'm sure I did. Let me just go through my repos on a separate screen here. Oh God, I got a lot of repos now. A lot of them are just nothing repos too. If you ever go to like looking at my repos for Quasarcast or for like Luke Diebold, then I promise you, that's not because I've done a lot of hard work. That's because I just have a bunch of like blank repos. Oh, okay, I probably named it when within the package.json. So let's jump in there. Yeah, here we go. Quasarcast Components Playground. I think that's a pretty good name for it. So now I'm going to create a new repository for this in the Quasarcast namespace. Since it's in the Quasarcast namespace, I'll just call it Components Playground. And I'll call this Playground for Quasar Components, ! And I'm going to make this a public repo. I'm going to create that repo. And there we go. I can probably safely show you what's going on my screen now. So this is what I do when I do repositories. I make sure that I've got something initialized, which is what I did before. Git status, quick git status to make sure that everything's clean. I've committed stuff. And then I just copy this, paste it in there, press enter another time so that gets run as well. Give it a couple of seconds. Now that that's run, refresh the page. And there we go. I'll paste that into the chat. And this is now freely available. So there you go. Dipanshu. I'm sorry, I can't say your name correctly. Dipanshu. All right, had a crack at it. I'm just embarrassing myself. All right, let's get back to this. So what am I aiming at here? Yeah, we want to be able to move this horizontal bar. I reckon the reason it's not working is because it doesn't have a fixed height. So how can we fix that? If you'll pardon the pun. Well, let's go ahead, at least to begin with, and see if what I'm saying is true about it not having a fixed... Oh, actually, this video, now that it's in horizontal mode, should not have a full width. It should have a full height instead in order for it to work. So let's come in here. So we've got to... we want to set a max height on this to whatever the height is of the div. Shit, to be honest, I don't even know how I'd do that. Oh man, CSS, it's the worst. Set a max height on this div. All right, for now, let's just get rid of the ratio. So what I'll do is I'll have another prop here called ratio so that we're basically proxying that. We'll say required false, and then we'll say type is equal to number. And then we'll just send that directly through here. And we'll set it to 16/9 by default. 16/9. Can I do that? Can I do division in a prop? Oh, yeah, that worked fine. Still can't edit this. What am I missing? Think, Luke. What are you missing? All right, let's go back to thinking about this from scratch. This will mean that we've got the correct height of the div that's wrapping it. We're creating a horizontal splitter. I'm not sure I actually want a height there. I think it might automatically take up the height for me. Oh, okay, we want the vertical. Maybe I didn't even save it. Vertical splitter and horizontal splitter. That's that one. And this is the horizontal splitter. That might actually, maybe that fixed it. No, I still can't grab this. It might have something to do with this component here. Let's try putting a full height on this. Cancel. I don't know what I did then. Full height. I'm going to set this view mode to horizontal by default, so I can easily iterate on this without having to press the button. I've done this before. I guess I could dig into old code, but sometimes I get into this thing in my head where I'm like, no, I'm going to figure this out so that I'll remember it for sure this time. All right, let's take a look one more time. So we've got a div here but this doesn't seem to be taking up all the space. The splitter inside of the div is not taking up all the space, so it needs to have a column. So let's give it a col, and I think that will mean that it takes up all the space. Yeah, it does. So that's that part done. What's the next thing? Come back in here. Oh no. I'm inside of an iframe. iframe hell. Okay, so this is the splitter. Is it the correct height? Yes, it is. Let's go one level deeper. You've got before, then the separator, and you've got after. And that seems to be displaying correctly to me, which tells me that the value being modeled might actually be the wrong thing. Hang on, that's got a height of 31%. And yet it's taking up so much space. That's not right. So maybe I need to wrap this splitter inside of a div because it doesn't like being inside of a col or a column. Why has that caused a problem? It might have to do with this page video. Maybe it's like forcing a height on the splitter. What would happen if we just commented that out and commented that out and we just said here, maybe a div with some lorem. Let's do that for both of them and just deal with a simpler example, then we'll bring the components in. That still doesn't work. Let's just do a quick page refresh. So why would that not be working though? It's got a height set to 66%. Okay, let's go to the Quasar docs. Maybe when you do a horizontal splitter, there's other stuff that you need to know about. See, I really should have checked the docs by this point. Horizontal, here we go. Let's see what happens if we give this splitter a fixed height. Yep, that's the next thing I'm going to try. dial is equal to height 900 pixels. That's probably a bit much. Let's say 500 pixels. Is that working? I believe so. Is that what they had? They had a height. Oh, what's this custom dragging elements? What does that mean? All right, don't get distracted. So that horizontal. Okay, so maybe it's this column on here that's causing the issues then. Okay, it is. There we go. So the problem is that we had coal on there, but I think we need coal in order for it to take up the height correctly. Let's get rid of that. So it needs to have a fixed height. I don't think I can give it a height of 100%. So let's just say class is equal to full height. I get the feeling that's not going to work. No. So do I really need to do a VH on this? I'll do it if I have to, but I don't know, I just figured that wouldn't be the solution. I just figured... What if I did this? What if I set that to a div inside a nah, that's not going to work. All right, so this is the alternative way of doing this, which I think is totally fine. I just wanted to avoid it because I wanted to keep things dynamic so that I could easily change the top section here. This is going to mean that I can't do that. So if anybody watches this in hindsight and thinks of a good solution, please do let me know. But this is what we'll do. If we say height here is equal to a calculation, we can say 100 VH, like that. Now we've got a scroll bar because obviously 100 view height is the height of the entire view. And because we've got this section here, it means that it's going to basically have this amount of too much height. So what we can do now is say minus 80 pixels, for example, and basically just keep changing this number until it looks about right. And this is what I do. Once I get it right, let's try 88. I then go 1 over just to be sure that it doesn't screw up on other devices with like finicky stuff. So 85, 86 is going to get rid of the bar there. So I'm going to go 87 as kind of a just in case. And now we've got a splitter that works correctly. Let's get rid of that lorem. Let's get rid of that lorem. And then let's go ahead and uncomment that and uncomment this. And I believe that is everything and it's working. Cool. Now the next thing I want to do is try and figure out how to do the right thing here with video height. So what if we give it no ratio? What's that going to do? Let's say ratio is equal to undefined. That's going to make it full width, it looks like. All right, so let's keep the ratio that it was given. Can we give this a height equal to 100%? I don't think that's going to work, but let's try it anyway. I always like to try the easy solutions first. No, all right, so how do we do this? Basically, I want to say, don't go full width. Take up the full height of this div. And then shrink if it doesn't match. Okay, so that doesn't change it at all. Can we put a div in there and maybe do the whole flex thing again? And then give this... Yeah, we basically want a div that grows correctly with the height. Quasar might even have a component for that. Okay, so we can't use the ratio component. I know they've got a responsive, maybe something like that. No, this is basically just doing the whole ratio thing. Oh, what's this? We've got stretch. Stretch is the default. Okay, hang on. So, what have we made? What have we made this a column? And then set the class of this equal to. No, that's not going to work. All right, I might finish this stream up and take a break in a second. Anyway, we've got vertical mode working nicely. We've got horizontal mode almost working nicely. Yeah, I'm going to finish up this stream, I think, in a second and then try and figure this out on my own. Actually, we've got a few people watching now. Let me describe the problem again. Basically, I want this video to be the height of the div. So basically to change its width depending on the height of the video. I might even come in here. Let's go back to like no ratio in case that's messing with it. So it's taking up the full width. Q page. Maybe though that actually gives it a ratio in the end. So how about this? We come in here, we just get rid of that for now. Okay, so that was using default. So let's come back here and maybe give it a height. So let's say the style is equal to height 100%. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like messing around now to see how I can figure this out. Maybe give this a class equal to full. Yeah. No, that's definitely not going to work. We need to tell it to fill the space. So it's almost like this needs to have the column actually. Or flex even. Let's make that a column. Get rid of that and that. And by making it a column, and then set this to col, which should mean fill the space of that column. No, that doesn't work either. All right, so let's do some digging. I just can't stop. I get addicted to these problems. See, I would have thought that by setting this to... All right, so the splitter's got the right height. The column is not taking up the space. Q video. Okay, there. All right, that's kind of useful actually. So you got the splitter, correct height, video, not the correct height. So splitter, correct height. Are we getting this column in there though? It doesn't seem to be showing up. No, it's like it's getting rid of that entirely. Let's refresh the page here. Horizontal mode. Straight away, you've got this class with Q video and then col. which is this one here. So where on earth is this one that has a class equal to column? I guess that's it. I guess the splitter must then take the root one and then add classes to it. So can I then... All right, well then let's see if we can... Let's go one step at a time. In that case, can I get a div in here that takes up all the height? Class is equal to... We'll give it full width as well. Full width. I'm pretty sure full height won't work, so I'll try that first though as the most basic. Wait, what happened then? Am I editing the wrong thing? Holy shit, I've been editing the wrong thing. Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. Oh man. Oh man, how far oh gosh, how long have I been doing this? Oh gosh, a long time. So let's go back to vertical, check that still. Oh my gosh. Isn't that horrendous? Okay, so we need to fix vertical now because I've just screwed it up. Oh no, that's got more to do with the temporary change of the ratio thing, so that's totally fine. So comment this back in. Oh man, I cannot believe I did that. That's so embarrassing. All right. And let's go back to the problem now. So let's just try setting this to a col, just in case there is flex already on the splitter, and have a look at where we're at. So here's the splitter. It's taking up the correct height, which you would expect. Let's just get rid of that. So the video is not taking up the correct height. So now we do a test. Am I in the right spot? Yes, I'm in the right spot. I'm even going to comment this out so I don't accidentally do that again. That was so crazy. My goodness. So I'm going to comment this out and basically just try and get a full height div. So then we can work from there. Make this a column. Oh, I don't really care about that. Okay, it's telling me that it's not using the vertical attribute anyway. That's all right. We'll bring that back in. So let's come back in here. So we've got a div, and inside of there we've got this column, which is not taking up the full height. So that's the next thing we can try and solve. Let's give it a full height. All right. And now it is taking up the full height. So that's awesome. Now let's put the video inside of there now then. And we can add column here. All right, now we're getting somewhere. The problem is it's not shrinking. So now we want to say, set this video's height to whatever the height of the parent div is. I think there's like a height, you know what? This is something that I do every now and then. I just kind of like scroll through my options for CSS variables. This is going to look so tacky, but I don't care. This is what I do. So this is set to full height. Inside of there, we have the video that's got a column. What happens if I get rid of that column? Because that column is telling it to take up all the space. Yeah, so you do want the... Actually, can I just say full height on that? Okay, so I can say full height. But then you think the Q video component would have a way to say respect the height of the div. Maybe I can then put the aspect ratio back in there and it will work using the height of the div. So I want to find out. Let's come back to page video. Bring the ratio back in. No, we've got that problem again. Because now the ratio is basically overriding it, I think. It's saying, hey, I'm going to go to this width no matter what. But it should be... hang on. So this is full height. Set to a column. And there should be a way in Flex to basically say, don't go any higher, don't go any more than your parent. At least I thought there was. So let's come in here. This is what happens in my live streams. That's the splitter. This is the one we're calling full height on. Which is being messed up by the ratio. So then I want to tell this one, the one with col on it, don't go any higher than your parent. So where's all of its flex related stuff? Okay. All right, looks like that col stuff was being ignored entirely anyway. Yeah. All right, we might have to do some fancy JavaScript stuff here. So I think there's a, yeah, here we go. We got the resize observer. When the wrapping DOM element is component to, yeah, okay, so check this out. I think I can just model something on that event. Okay, so it's just got the resize event. And basically say, hey, let's take the new height and set the video height to that height. Because I'm pretty sure that at least will work. If I come here to page video, we've got the ratio in place. But if I come back here now and say style is equal to height, or maybe I can do height directly there. Height is equal to, by the way, let's just try this. I doubt it, but we'll try it. Yeah, no. Let's set that to something like 200 pixels and see if that is respected. Okay, I might have to be through a style tag, or let's come in here and just try it directly on here. Yeah, probably does. Style is equal to height, 200 pixels. Oh man, seriously? That's not even being respected. Did I set a full width on this? Man, I can't even set a height on this? Surely I can. Hang on. That is not working. The ratio is basically overriding that, I think, and setting it to a full width. So this really is a sticky problem. Oh man. Okay, what other options do I have here? Um, I can't really get rid of the ratio. Because I need it so that the video displays it the right. Yeah, so I can't really do that. Hang on, maybe I can remake. Maybe I can figure out the width based on the height. Oh God, that would be complicated. I don't want it to have to come to that. Because then I have to do math. Ew. But yeah, this is working now because I got rid of the ratio part. 300, see if I change it to 400. Is that working? Yeah, it is. But you can't have a height and a ratio. What? Surely that, hang on, Q video. If value is a string, then avoid using a computational statement like. Okay, that's not really helpful. Yeah, so there by saying ratio, it's now taking up the full width. It's all width based. Like there doesn't seem to be a way that we can make this height based. So I can't even, it doesn't even help to know the height of this and then to set it, to literally set the height. That doesn't help because then you lose the ratio. What if I do it directly in here? Somehow I'm really doubting it. Let's bring the ratio back in. We tried setting height on here before directly, didn't we? Yeah, and it didn't work. Now I'm just going in circles. That's not helpful. Yeah, you end up with the same problem. All right, I'm going to take a break, lie down, and think about this because I think I can solve this problem. This is what I think we need to do now. Since we have to rely on the width, what we can do is use the resize observer and basically say whenever this div resizes, get me the height of this div and the width of this div, and then set the height of the video equal to the height of the div but adhering to the ratio. Oh shit, I don't know, my brain's exploding. All right, I'm going to stop this stream, take a rest. I've been coding for like over 3 or 4 hours, so my brain is just turning to mud now. But yeah, I'll take a break and I'll see you all in the next stream. And yeah, I mean the good thing about this is when it's done, it's going to be awesome. So let's just like this really helps me to go back to why I'm doing this, especially when I run into these really difficult problems. Basically, it means people that are learning Quasar for the first time can open up this menu, go to any component like QBanner, click on either vertical mode. Yeah, we'll have to fix that again. And that will basically show the video on the left and what they're working on the right. They can go to full screen mode. They can go to like a smaller screen mode. They've got all these different options for how to display the video and display their component. And then all they have to do, since I'll be doing all the nice wrapping and all that fancy stuff for them, all they have to do is go, for example, into the component. In this case, it's QBanner. So they just go QBanner and start editing. Done. They don't have to worry about any of this crazy stuff. They just go, I'm going to edit the QBanner component, and anything they do in there is going to show up below. And they can do that for any component. I think that would be insanely cool. So it's definitely worth me putting in the effort to making this happen. This is a worthwhile pursuit. And the only thing on my way right now is setting the height of this video, because these other two are going to be super easy to do. This one's basically just going to be, you know what, let's do them now, because I'm feeling a little bit demoralized after this, trying to tackle this annoying problem with the horizontal thing. So let's do another one. This one will not need a Q splitter at all, so we'll make it a div instead. We don't need a before and after. You've literally just got the video and the component. Doesn't have to model anything. And then we can simply say here, if the view mode, and I believe we set it to full dash width. So let's make this one the full width mode. There it is there, full width mode. And it was that easy. So this one was so easy. Basically, I want the user to be able to say, I want the video to be super large. And then I'll just scroll down the page and mess around with things. So now they can just throw it on the side like that. They can go QBanner like this. And then they can say, buy now, buy more. Start playing around with it and play the video to watch it to see like how to work with QBanner. So there we go. That one was so easy to do. It's kind of annoying how easy it was. So this is full width, and we'll call this one default. Yeah, we'll call it default. And then we'll do something fun with local storage. Yeah, I need a bit of a break. So we'll do that. So default mode is basically going to set how about we do this? Default mode will say style is equal to max height. We'll say like 80 VH. Yeah, so it means if I go full screen, oh, that blatantly didn't work. Is this default mode? Did that work? Yeah, otherwise it wouldn't show anything at all. It's full width. That's default mode. Oh no, let's set this to max width. And then we'll do something like, I don't know, 70 view width. Okay, we'll put that inside of a div that has a max width of 70 view width. Oh, whoops, it's gone back to that mode. I don't think I need to put that in a div. Oh yeah, I probably do to maintain the aspect ratio. So let's bring that back. Nice. And then we'll just center it. And if you go full screen, you get a bigger one, but you can still see what's going on. So I think I might make that the default mode. And maybe instead of 70, we'll set it to like, I don't know, 65 might be a better number there. Yeah. Okay. I think that mode will make sense by default. And then I can say class here is equal to flex and flex center. Man, all this other stuff is so much easier. Ha! Except that didn't work. Full width. Interesting. Flex center, full width. Maybe I'll put, that's going to take up the full width. So then this, okay, this needs to be a column. Whoops. Okay, I'm going to make this default by default so I can play around with this more easily. What? Why did it work that time? I didn't do anything. God, that's frustrating, isn't it? So adding the column did that. Oh, of course. This will actually be a column, like so. And then this is going to be class is equal to col. Hang on, what am I doing here? No. We'll set that to a row, and we'll just make this col dash 12. And then we'll set a col 12 on this as well, just so that they're like above and below each other. That should be correct. Yeah. And then I should be able to easily say, no, because I want to do a center on this, but not the other one. All right, so I've done this in the wrong spot. What I really want to do, for now we'll wrap this one level deeper. I think I actually do need to wrap that one level deeper to get this to work. Yeah, so now the row is on there, and now we can say, and we can probably actually set this to flex and flex dash center. And I shouldn't need column 12 on that. All right, so now what's happening? Let's dig in. So we've got, I can't grab this. What's going on? There we go. We've got flex center. Inside of there, we've only got the div. So I don't know why we're getting that split down the center there. Okay, max width, but we also want to say then, by the way, take the full width, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there we go. That's got that working now. So that looks good to me. Full screen, takes up a little bit more space, which makes sense. It's kind of logical. And yeah, I think that's nice. So that looks good. That's a really nice option. Vertical option works really nicely. Works really nicely. And the last thing we need to do is fix horizontal, which I'm going to do after my break. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. If you want to see the work I've done here, in fact, I'll push it right now. Git status, git add dot, git commit message. I'm just going to whip this one because we're going to be continuously working on it. And I've already posted it in the comments, but I'll post it in there again. There we go. So there you have it. Going to take a break. Thanks for watching.